Hello, okay, so today is going to be an adventure day. So Shizuka and I are going to be riding the bikes over to a place called Duck Donuts because they have amazing donuts. I've not tried their coffee before, so we'll find out, and we're going to sit outside and work on stuff for a bit. So thought it'd be nice to take you guys along for a wee adventure. Good morning! Okay, so first of all, I'll tell you the most important thing of the whole episode, and then we'll get into the less important stuff. So the most important thing is that the tea has changed. So no more ginger turmeric, not at least today. But we have old beloved Tetley's tea. My mother came from England recently and kindly brought that. She said PG tips in her text message and brought Tetley's. So a bit of confusion, but all is well, and I have my tea. So that's very exciting. So in today's episode, I'm going to be telling you guys pretty clearly, I hope, sort of exactly where each of my major languages lies on sort of a scale of ability. I think you always need to find a way to prioritize your languages. So in my book, I talk a lot about how you should always have a rough idea, preferably a specific list that's prioritized in some way, shape, or fashion. But I also believe that you should be flexible. So you should be totally open to that list changing. So let me give you an example. When I was living in Germany, which was really a crucial time in my language learning career, because when I arrived in Germany, I moved there from Portugal, and I had a massive mess on my hands. It was awful. I had studied so many languages. They were all over the place. Japanese was still pretty strong, but it had gotten surprisingly rusty while I had been learning French, which was now my best language. But then I had worked on Italian and Spanish and kind of Portuguese all sort of concurrently and didn't make any progress in either one of them. And the Swedish was kind of there. German was actually okay because that was my most recent one, but I was only 6 weeks in, and so Swedish was overshadowed by German. It was just a mess. So in Germany is where I really turned a corner and began this process of developing a system for maintaining all these languages so that I could basically one by one bring them up. Now, in the beginning, I made a priority list and I prioritized sort of German at the top, and then I had sort of Japanese. But then I found that my daily life presented different opportunities. So it was an Italian restaurant. I made really good friends with the owner and his dad, and also one of his workers, and it became just such a pleasure to go there all throughout the week in the evenings and practice my Italian. And then I also realized that two of my favorite coffee shops also had Italian employees. So Italian was shifted up the list, right? And then I found I had some colleagues at work that were from Sweden, so that was going to be my very first opportunity to speak Swedish. I never actually got to speak to them in Swedish, but that really spurred on this opportunity to potentially speak Swedish. And something was drawing me to the Swedish language. I just wanted to study it, and that gave me a reason. So all of that is just to illustrate that I started out with a priority list, but I allowed it to change. It was flexible, right? Because your needs will change, your opportunities to speak different languages will change, and also your feeling will change. Sometimes, if you're a polyglot, sometimes you'll go through phases and you'll have this huge urge to study your Turkish, right? Even though that wasn't part of the plan. I think you need to be structured to a degree, but you also need to be open and flexible so that you're not just studying one language because it was part of the plan, and you're you're depriving yourself of what you'd like to be doing. So, my languages. So obviously English is at the top. That's my native language. And below that is French. So French is a language that I've put an absolutely enormous amount of time into. I truly, truly love the French language, and it's a language I've worked in as a translator. I've done interpreting in French, and I worked for Expedia France on their customer service team. So I've done almost all my reading in French. So French is after English, and it's certainly gotten a bit rusty, but it hasn't changed a whole lot, right? So I still do speak French occasionally, and I don't have any problem speaking French. So I would certainly like to brush it up, and I would like to just be enjoying my French more. My French is more about enjoyment. I really want to keep enjoying it and have it at top level all the time. After that, I have Japanese and Italian and Spanish, I would say, are on a pretty similar level. They're different, but they're all in a place where I speak them. They're pretty strong. I make mistakes, but I can speak all of them very fluently as an adult. I can interact in any adult situation in those languages. They certainly have improvement to be made, and they have gotten rustier, right, than French, for example. So those certainly need some work. Japanese, all of them are in a very similar place, actually. Italian and Spanish and Japanese, I really want to do a lot of reading. I would love to really improve my reading ability and use that as a vehicle to really, I want to really improve my pronunciation, the rhythm. I'm in a stage with those languages where I really it's the really higher level. I want to get better with idioms, knowing all the correct words to use in different situations, just really like polishing those languages. So I first need to shake off the rust, get them back up, and then I want to really improve those elements. And below that, I would say you have Portuguese and German, and then Swedish is kind of here, and then Dutch is below that. So Portuguese and German, they're two languages where I spoke them both quite well, actually. Like I really was so close to breaking through the barrier that I often talk about. We'll discuss this quote unquote barrier, where it's almost like you pass from the learning phase into the maintenance phase. And it's strange because until you reach that point, it's almost like if you stop, they atrophy very quickly. But once you break through that barrier, it's strange, but it seems to be real. Once you break through that barrier, your languages will atrophy much more slowly, like my Spanish, Italian, and Japanese. So basically, my German, I really worked so hard on it, and I was getting very confident and really enjoying it. But it's gotten a lot worse. My German is in a very bad state right now. And Swedish is similar. It wasn't as good as my German, but I did speak Swedish to a fluent level. To some degree, certainly, I could talk about adult topics. I made a video in Swedish where I had never even spoken to a person in Swedish before. And I wanted to prove that you can actually learn to speak a language to a degree of fluency without human interaction if you have the right resources. And then Portuguese too. I was speaking Portuguese a lot. I spoke Portuguese almost every day for a while. I have a wonderful friend in Brazil, and we were exchanging audio messages. But again, it didn't get quite good enough to where it was stable. And so my Portuguese has also declined a lot. And then Dutch at this point is in a bad place. So I've been very honest about my Dutch on this channel in the past as well. Dutch is a language that I haven't spoken for a very long time, and with related languages like Swedish and German becoming a big part of my life after the fact, it's in a bad place. So I do need to really improve that. So that's pretty much it. So what I will tell you today is I have decided on my first two languages that I will focus on. So I'm going to be focusing on Japanese, and that's going to be until May 15th. So in that case, I have a very clear goal. It's also important to set goals and have a rough idea of a rotation. I'll talk more about this idea of rotation in future episodes, but I know that I will be working on Japanese until about May 15th. and I'll be focusing on certain activities. So with Japanese, I'm going to be really doing a lot of reading. So Shizuka kindly brought me an awesome book. It's a book of essays surrounding the topic of coffee. As you guys know, it's a big thing for me. So I'm going to be doing a lot of reading in Japanese and also speaking with Shizuka. We speak a lot of English. Her English is excellent, and of course she came all the way here. So, but it's nice to have the opportunity to also speak Japanese. And then in German, I'll be doing a lot more dead time study. So, I over the years, I think I've become a master of my dead time. It's just automatic. I don't have to think at all. If I'm waiting for a bus, the phone comes out, I'm doing flashcards, or it's just automatic. So I love making use of my dead time. So that's a rough sketch of what's to come. So for the next couple months, I'll be doing a lot of German, a lot of Japanese. I'll make videos in those languages. Maybe in the next episode, I'll speak in German and Japanese, and I will not prepare at all. And I will show you exactly how bad my German has got. Because I want you guys to see, I want this to be authentic. I don't want to just show you guys when my German is at its best. Because I think a lot of polyglot channels are like that. You see a multilingual video where it's very clearly rehearsed, practiced. You're saying kind of the same things, like, here's how I learn German, here's how I learn Spanish, here's how I learn French. And it's impressive, but it's a bit superficial in my personal opinion. That's why in the past I started making videos. Like I made a video in Portuguese all about turmeric juice, right? I decided I wanted to make videos on expansive topics in different languages to show exactly how good or bad they are. So moving forward in this series, I want you guys to see exactly how good or bad my languages are, right? So I'll make a video in Japanese and in German so you can see how bad it is, and then you'll get to see the progression and the improvement. And then, of course, I'll make videos in Swedish, I'll make videos in all those languages, and I'll be as honest and transparent as I can be. So I cannot wait. The book is like 2 days away. 2 days? Shizuka's doing this. It's like 2 days away, maybe. I don't know. Like the proofreading is done. All we're doing now is putting the last illustrations in, fixing the layout, and then we'll have to just wait for the first copy to arrive. So as soon as the book is published, I will begin. So the next couple of episodes are going to be mostly planning and showing you guys how I set all that up, because the planning is very important, I think. So anyway, that was far longer than planned. I'm absolutely awful at keeping these short, so I do apologize. I promise I will keep practicing not talking as much. Okay, so I wish you guys a wonderful day, and I'm super excited. Please leave me comments if you guys have, get involved. I want you guys to come along on this journey. So please, comment. Tell me your language situation. Tell me the languages you're working on. Maybe do you want to follow along with what I'm doing? If so, give me a list. Tell me the languages you speak or you'd like to speak, and give me a priority list in some way. So tell me, here are languages I speak, and I've prioritized them in based on how much I need each one, right? Maybe you need French for work, but you like to speak Japanese, but it's just for a hobby. So maybe please get involved. I absolutely love all the comments. So, all right, have a good day and see you next time. Tea time. It's not tea time at all. By the way, no, I'm not going to get into it. I'll explain tea time for non-British people soon enough. But cheers.